The ominous forest. It was a cool autumn evening when 5 friends sat around a campfire telling ghost stories and urban legends. As the night wore on, they all became more daring and decided to investigate one of the most well-known urban legends in their small town. The legend of the mysterious creature that lurked in the woods. The legend had been circulating for years, but no one had ever seen the creature or even knew what it looked like. Some claimed it had glowing red eyes, while others swore it had razor-sharp claws and teeth. Despite the wild rumors, the friends were determined to find out if there was any truth to the legend. They packed some flashlights, snacks, and water bottles and set off into the woods. The moon was full, casting an eerie light through the trees, and the forest was silent, except for the occasional hoot of an owl or rustle of leaves underfoot. As they walked deeper into the woods, the air grew colder and the trees began to crowd in closer together. They soon realized they had wandered off the main path and were now lost. Their flashlights barely pierced the darkness, and the shadows seemed to be alive with movement. Suddenly, they heard a low growl coming from somewhere in front of them. They froze in place, their hearts pounding as the growl grew louder and more menacing. Then they saw it. A pair of glowing red eyes staring at them from the darkness. They screamed and ran back in the opposite direction, not even bothering to look behind them. But the creature was fast and relentless, chasing them through the forest with its terrifying snarls and growls. They could hear it getting closer and closer, its breath hot on their heels. Just when they thought all hope was lost, they stumbled onto a clearing and saw a dilapidated cabin looming in front of them. Without hesitation, they sprinted towards the cabin and managed to slam the door shut just as the creature lunged at them. As they huddled inside, their hearts still racing, they realized that they had stumbled upon something even more terrifying than the legendary creature, a deranged hermit who had been living in the cabin for years, driven mad by his isolation. He ranted and raved, brandishing a rusty knife, and the friends knew they were in grave danger. They backed away from him slowly, praying that he wouldn't lunge at them with his weapon, and made a mad dash for the forest. They ran blindly through the woods, not caring where they were going, until they eventually found their way back to the main path. Shaken but alive, they vowed to return to the forest and end the legend once and for all. The guys were determined to defeat the monster and save the village from its terror. So the next day, they headed back into the forest, armed with all the weapons they could find. As they made their way through the dense trees, they could hear the monster's deafening roars getting louder and louder. The closer they got, the more anxious they became, but they knew they had to stay focused if they wanted to succeed. Finally, they reached the spot where they had encountered the monster the day before, and there it was, larger than life and angrier than ever. Its eyes glowed in the dark as it let out a blood-curdling scream that sent shivers down their spines. But this time, the guys were ready. They charged at the monster with all their might, their swords gleaming in the sunlight that filtered through the trees. The monster retaliated with its razor-sharp claws and teeth, but the guys dodged and parried every attack. For hours, they battled fiercely. It was a grueling fight, but the guys refused to give up. They fought with courage and determination, knowing that the fate of the village relied on their success. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the monster let out one last roar and fell to the ground, defeated. The guys breathed a sigh of relief and looked around, taking in the sight of the forest now calm and peaceful. They had saved the village from certain doom, and they knew that their bravery would never be forgotten. As they left the forest, they felt a sense of pride wash over them, knowing that they had accomplished something truly remarkable.